What's today's date? Are we the 21st or 22nd? Hey, Yumiko. Oh, hi there, and welcome to another edition of the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, and we'll be with you for the next hour to answer all your legal questions. 877-943-9673. That's your live and local studio line to call in with your legal question. 877-943-9673. Today is Saturday, January 21st, and we'll be with you for the next hour. In between your calls, today we're going to be discussing sovereign citizens. So we're going to delve into the deep and often confusing and whimsical world of sovereign citizens. So what are sovereign citizens? Sovereign citizen, the sovereign citizen movement, for those of you not familiar, was founded by a gentleman named William Potter Gale. And essentially the crux of the movement is a non-recognition of the federal government. The belief system is essentially something, it's a Latin phrase called posse comitatus, which basically means the power of the county. And essentially, that is the highest form of government that the sovereign citizen will agree to recognize, specifically the sheriff of that particular county. And essentially, sovereign citizens break down citizens into two classes. They have what they call citizens de jure, or that's the sovereign citizen, the citizen by sovereign right, or the 14th Amendment citizen, the citizen created under the government. And there are some key traits and kind of characteristics that our research shows according to the sovereign citizen movement as we know today. Number one, you often see a refusal to pay taxes, a very anti-government tilt in general, often to the point of demonstrating violence towards the government, filing property liens, and a lot of quasi-legal arguments in open court. So we'll get into more on that as the show unfolds. So if you're out there and you have any legal question, we'll be happy to talk to you today. We'll also be happy to talk to you if you have a sovereign citizen question, or maybe we'll be so lucky as to get an actual sovereign citizen to call in. So certainly, if you consider yourself a sovereign citizen, we want to talk to you. 877-943-9673. Or if you're in law enforcement and you've had this interaction, or if you've had an interaction with any sovereign citizen in any aspect of your life, we'd like to hear about it today. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. All right, first we got Luke the intern's on the line. Luke, welcome back. How are you, buddy? Hey, Luke, you there? All right, Luke. You there? Hey, all right, we can hear you now. Luke, go ahead. What's your sovereign citizen story? So did he ever make any reference to sort of the bifurcated approach about being a citizen under a different constitution, or did he get into that analysis? Because one of the other theories of sovereign citizens is the fact that there was basically this underhanded replacement of the original federal government under admiralty law with this new sort of secret shadow government that no one else is aware of other than the sovereign citizens. Did they make any reference to that? Okay, what was the conclusion? What ultimately, in a lot of these situations, because I did a deep dive into these videos, watching exactly what you're talking about, the interaction between a judge and a sovereign citizen, you can tell it's really testing a lot of judges' patience out there. And a lot of judges just wind up holding the person in contempt or something of that nature. What was the outcome in this situation, Luke? All right. All right. Well, Luke, we appreciate. Hey, Luke, any other good news you want to share with the listeners? So now all the pressure's off, Luke. We were talking about that this past week, how two types of people, those going to law school and those not. And you're now in the class going to law school. So congratulations, Luke. Super proud of you, buddy. And can't wait to hear from some of the other schools. I know you got some big fish you're waiting to hear from. So you may have some more exciting news to announce in the future. All right, Luke, have a great Saturday. Thanks for calling in. All righty, 877-943-9673. That's your number to be part of our live and local show. Your question can be on any legal topic, but in between, we are discussing sovereign citizens and kind of their unique conspiracy theorist take. We were talking about how they essentially see the world in two classes of citizens: sovereign citizens and government citizens, basically those created under the 14th Amendment, and then this working theory that somehow after the Civil War there was this swapping of the government, and that was done in secret. So they do not recognize the federal government as legitimate, and their highest form of government official in their paradigm is that of the county sheriff. So 877-943-9673. All right, let's go to Chris. Chris, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Hey, Chris, ladies and gentlemen, this is attorney Christopher Hickson, one of my very good, very dear friends. And Chris, you've been on the show, so a lot of listeners familiar with you. Have you had an interaction with a sovereign citizen? So, so in our research, I actually saw one of these videos where the interaction was such that the guy said, "I don't recognize your authority as a judge. I'd like to see your oath of office." But then he went beyond that. He said, "I want to see the oath of office taken by each one of the bailiffs in the courtroom, and I want the names of every person here." Did they get to that level of? Because this is sort of one of their MOs. It's sort of papering the process, and that is their weapon of choice seems to be just the proliferation of filing sort of these nonsensical sovereign documents. So this was a situation where the guy said, I don't accept this name that you're ascribing to me. And okay. I saw some clips like that too, where they don't recognize their government name as they refer to it, and they go with the fact that they are a living person is how they refer to themselves. Yeah, yeah, I saw that. So it's sort of it's an oddball thing, but when you're in a judge's courtroom and they say things like, "We don't recognize your authority," that has generally one response that it generates from the judge, and it's not a good one. So they're sort of playing with fire, and it sounds like you're sort of confirming that fact that the judge just sort of reined it in real fast. All right, Chris, we appreciate you calling in. All right, 877-943-9673. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Today we're talking all things sovereign citizens. So 877-943-9673. You can give us a call now, live and local, open phone lines, and you can also call in with any other legal questions you may have. We'll be happy to answer those in between our discussion of sovereign citizens. And another trait of sovereign citizens is the fact that they often are some of your most prominent squatters. As far as squatters' rights go, a lot of sovereign citizens have the habit of occupying and maintaining residence, establishing residence in vacant or foreclosed on homes, and they'll even go so far as to generate their own quitclaim deed, purportedly transferring the property to themselves. So, because of the recognition or lack of a recognition of the federal government, they believe these maneuvers completely legitimate in establishing their ownership of those particular vacant or foreclosed on properties. So if you're out there and you've had an interaction with a squatter, especially if you're in law enforcement, if you're a sitting judge and you've had an interaction, we'd love to hear from you. Or if you are a sovereign citizen, we'd love to hear from you too. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. And by the way, you can always email us, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. Patrick@attorney.com, and also check us out on social media at the Attorney Patrick Smith Show on Instagram and Attorney Patrick Smith on Facebook. All right, let's go to Matthew. Matthew, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hey, Patrick, Matthew Kendall here.
Hey, buddy. How's Kendall doing today? Ladies and gentlemen, again, another attorney who listens to our show, Attorney Matthew Kendall. So, Matt, you've had an interaction with a sovereign citizen, it says.
Yeah, I've had several. I've been a criminal lawyer for, about 15 years. And so I've had them as interactions as both a prosecutor and a defense attorney. And, one of the most recent ones is, the representation kind of started off, just like a normal attorney-client relationship. And then the individual's wife just kind of, got to reading on the internet or something and found the sovereign citizen movement. And then ultimately the husband kind of, turned in the same thing. And I think they kind of look at first, like a way to get out of it when they can't. And, he had some pretty big hurdles he was up against. And ultimately they, kind of turned into that movement, filed stuff with the judge. I think they tried to sue me in the criminal case that I was representing the guy on. They filed a bunch of paperwork I'd seen before. So, to be honest, I saw it what it was immediately and didn't really read it, but and then, the guy didn't show up for court, and that was I got off the case.
So when the guy didn't show up, did the judge just issue a bench warrant for him?
Yes. Yeah. Failure to appear.
Yeah. I mean, and you're describing a lot of their typical MOs we were talking about with Hickson, is the fact that there's just sort of this, I'll paper, and keep papering until I get hopefully a result that I want. Yeah. And I was going to ask you specifically if they ever, turned on you. Is there, nominated counsel, so to speak? Did they recognize your authority? But it sounds like they immediately questioned that as well.
Yes. Yeah, they did. And kind of like what the prior caller said is, they see their names in all capital letters, and, they basically say that that's not the individual, but instead it's a corporate shell identity or a straw man controlled by the government is kind of what the thing is. And there's actually, I came across this years ago. I actually, did some case law research to see if it was ever addressed in an appellate opinion. And there's actually some out there from the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, around the Chicago area that kind of trace, and one actually traces the history of the sovereign citizen movement. And and so that was kind of interesting to read a while back.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this, because one of the news items out there was reporting how the sovereign citizen movement was recently sort of invigorated by the pandemic and the COVID outbreak and then the mandate for vaccines. And you see this sort of dovetailing of sovereign citizen ideology and this general anti-government as far as anti-vaxxers ideology, where there's some, if it were a Venn diagram, this overlap between those two. So it kind of makes me curious if, especially in the criminal defense world, if you guys are going to see an uptick in, sovereign citizen defense strategy. And if you do see that, please call in and let us know if that sort of empirical data becomes reality.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you one more quick story. When I was a prosecutor, I actually tried a case against a sovereign citizen who was charged with battering or resisting an officer with violence, and so he represented himself throughout the trial. And in the closing arguments, he got up in front of the jury and he told them he was a county ranger, which is one of 12 people that can walk into a courtroom and overturn a judge or jury's decision. And so, I'm in between laughing at this. I get up and I object, and it's like the guy is like, "That's not the law," and he's like, "Oh, that's federal law, Judge," and he's like, "No, that's not federal law either." And ultimately, the jury convicted the guy in about 30 minutes.
Well,
as long as it takes to read through all the jury instructions.
Yeah, the quick jury turnaround is never good for the defendant in general. And how quick did the judge sustain your objection in that particular situation?
Oh, almost immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know if he may have been ready to just object himself. It's funny because on the pro se defendants, the judges will say, "Hey, you got to follow all the rules," but a lot of times they do get a lot more leeway than lawyers would get. But some judges are going to make the attorneys do the objections. And
and that's what I have to say. I was one of the takeaways from the research on this was just how patient these judges really are, and it's amazing. It's breathtaking how actively trying to disrespect the judge in their courtroom. And so hats off to the judges who maintain that respect. Now, you mentioned the thing about the all capital letters. So real quick before you go, the Southern Poverty Law Center says that according to Sovereign Citizen Research, the government has pledged its citizenry as collateral by selling their future earning capabilities to foreign investors, effectively enslaving all Americans. This sale, they claim, takes place at birth. When a baby is born in the U.S., a birth certificate is issued, and the hospital usually advises the parents to apply for a Social Security number. And then that goes on to say that basically that all capital name, and it's basically like pledging you as an indentured person as collateral for this debt to this foreign investor. And this is sort of a general flavor. And there's lots of YouTube channels out there that have you watched any of the YouTube channels of the sovereign citizens?
I haven't. I've been at the state attorney's office before when they've come in and they'll complain to like the person at the front desk. I've seen them in court, kind of like the last caller mentioned, walk in and say, "Judge, that's not my name on that document. That's the corporation me." They talked about how the state of Florida flag or the United States flag is a naval flag, or, based upon things that are on it. So I've seen them tell the judge, "You don't have jurisdiction over me." Usually they claim that they don't have to have a driver's license, be based upon the right to travel. That includes the right to operate a car without a license. And some of them even have like these official certificates that they belong to, some made up Indian nation or something like that. Because I've seen those before.
Well, and the popularity of the YouTube channels is something that I was shocked at how many millions of subscribers these YouTube channels have with sovereign citizens. And I think it actually led to possibly a movie being made. Maybe Yumiko, see if you can find a trailer for Sovereign Citizen movie. And if we can find that, because you really get a sense of, you don't really get an authentic sense of what sovereign citizenship is and what they believe until you hear one of them proclaiming their beliefs. I really think that sort of firsthand one-on-one with them is the best way to understand what sovereign citizenship is.
Yeah, and I think it actually comes originally from like the Moorish Science Temple or something.
Yes.
So some sort of a religious organization that it just got kind of and they don't actually support the sovereign citizen movement, this Moorish Science Temple. But that's kind of, I think, where it grew out of, at least according to the case law that I've read.
Like an extremist offshoot.
Yeah, and it just, some people seem to be very attracted about the ideas that it propagates.
Well, I got to admit, the idea of not paying taxes perked my ears
It
up
is
a
that
moment.
time of year.
They lost me when we said we were all pledged as babies for collateral, but the not paying taxes idea had my interest momentarily. So, but Matt, we appreciate you calling in, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, okay?
All right, thanks,
All right,
Patrick.
bye-bye. All right, 877-943-9673. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, and Kendall hanging up opens up a line. So give us a call now with your legal question, your sovereign citizen story, 877-943-9673, or email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. But again, the number to be part of the program, 877-943-9673. All right, let's welcome Sharon from Tampa. Sharon, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. How are you today, Sharon?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing just fine, Sharon. How can we help you?
I have a question regarding living trust and transferring your properties into living trust, particularly my home. Now, does that change my homestead exemption or my greenbelt exemption if I do that?
Not if it's done properly. I think there's what I call coupling language that needs to be put both in the deed, reflecting the fact that it is your homestead property, and I think there needs to be language in the trust that receives that homestead property, recognizing the fact that it is going to be holding homestead property under Florida Statute 196, showing your present possessory interest in that property. But I think that it's very precarious when attorneys try to treat homestead property like it's any other piece of real estate, because I think that's a good way to lose that homestead exemption. So I think that when you transfer homestead property, you have to give it the appropriate recognition as homestead.
That's what we wanted to know.
All right.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for your help.
Sharon, have you ever had any interactions with sovereign citizens?
No, not at all.
All right. Well, that's an honest, me either. And I can't wait to meet my first one in person. I'm looking forward to that interaction because I have so many questions. So hopefully we get one calling in here today. But Sharon, we appreciate you. Thanks for listening to the show.
Thank you, sir. Listen to you every Saturday. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sharon. 877-943-9673. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. So give us a call now. If you have a legal question, sovereign citizen thought, you can email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. Next, we're going to go to Tampa and talk to Neil. Neil, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Yeah, good morning. Good show. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, I have a question. With the rent being so high nowadays and my kids and stuff, I had ventured out maybe buying a bigger, larger home where we can all share the home. We could have separate living areas, but building it into a trust. Is that known for people to do that nowadays?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see this sort of consolidation of the family, where you'll see family members, and I wouldn't say I see it a lot, but I wouldn't say it's rare either, Neil. So you see this sort of the sandwich generation. Are you familiar with that term at all, Neil?
No.
Okay, so the sandwich generation is referring to a lot of kind of what our boomers are going through right now, where they may have elderly parents still alive, and they may have children that are still living with them, or grandchildren. So they're sort of sandwiched between these multiple generations. And in those scenarios, sometimes what they do is decide to sort of compound the family and build this big spread and have everyone live right there, because it's just helpful to have all the extra hands to care for the elderly loved ones. It's helpful to have help with the younger family members in the forms of babysitters. So you do see this from time to time. It's becoming more and more common. And I think that's also a commentary on a tough economy, where people say, my gosh, it's really tough out there. It's a tough world. It's a tough time for a lot of Americans, especially those who live paycheck to paycheck. So consolidating living arrangements like that can go a long way to reduce a lot of those month-to-month expenses.
Is it best to get the home first, or contact you and set up the trust with the family members and go from there? Or how does that work?
Yeah, I think every good estate plan starts with a consultation. So I think you first have to sort of get a lay of the land as far as the family, the finances, kind of the estate planning goals. And then I think that you go about setting that fact pattern up against the spectrum of estate planning options, and then assessing in that consultation where we achieve that optimization, where we get the result that the client wants in as cheap and as expeditious manner as possible. So I think it starts with that consultation. Absolutely, Neil.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's a lot of good information, and we'll get with you as soon as we figure things out.
All right, Neil, of course, I'm going to ask you, any interactions with a sovereign citizen ever?
No, I've heard of it before. It is a new term, but no.
See, I think that, so had you heard the term sovereign citizen before today's show?
No, I have not.
And that was the reason why I wanted to do this. So I always bounce these ideas off my wife as far as, are they interesting or not? And sometimes I come to her with an idea that I think is great. And she goes, that is so boring. Please don't do that. That's going to be, that's going to bore your listeners. And she's right when I really try it on. But when I hit her with this idea and said, hey, what do you think of sovereign citizens? She goes, great idea. So I think that you're proving the point. I think a lot of people just didn't know they were out there. And I think that because it's a growing movement, I've got a feeling if we did a revisit of this topic 6 months from now, I think that almost every single caller is going to know what a sovereign citizen is and probably had some interaction with them the way that everyone says the population of them is trending upwards. So we'll have to check back with you, Neil, in about 6 months and see if you've had any interaction. Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. Have a good day.
You too, Neil. All righty. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. We're live and local. And by the way, if you want to reach me at the office during the week to schedule your complimentary consultation, just like we were discussing with Neil there, to do so, it's 877-754-6764. Again, that toll-free number where you can call to schedule your appointment, 877-754-6764. That's your number to call to schedule for Sarasota, Sun City Center, Clearwater, any of our office locations. We'll be happy to give you that complimentary estate planning consultation just by calling 877-754-6764. But we want to talk to you live on the air today. 877-943-9673. Neil hanging up, opened up a studio line, so give us a call now. 877-943-9673. All right, let's go to Holiday and let's talk to John. John, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Yes, good morning, Patrick. What might be the tax situation for someone who inherits an investment account from a trust?
So was the investment account a qualified or non-qualified account? And if you don't understand the distinction there, John, I'm happy to draw.
No, I don't understand the distinction.
The account that was inherited, was the decedent paying taxes on the earned income, or was the earned income deferring taxation?
It was paying tax on the income.
So it was a taxable account. Now, what was the year of death?
Well, this hasn't happened yet. This is a...
So I want to back up. So is this about an account you own, John, or is this about an account?
Yes.
Okay, so you're concerned about the taxes going down. I thought we were going to be dealing with a greedy beneficiary situation where.
Yeah, I beg your pardon.
Okay, now I understand. So you're worried about the potential tax implications going down to your beneficiaries.
Right.
Okay, so so if it's not over $12 million is the short version, your total estate, John, you have nothing to worry about in terms of estate taxes. Now, there may be ordinary income tax obligations, but a good accountant will keep you safe and keep your beneficiaries safe by filing your final 1040, the 1041, which is the earned income tax return for estates. And if it's not over that 12 million mark, or not over what we call the unified credit threshold, it's not going to be required to file any 706 or the estate tax filings.
Okay, but the person who inherits the account, what is their situation?
Great question. So again, they definitely want to meet with their own accountant to assess how it plugs into all their existing incomes. But the short version is once they've inherited that principal bequest, from that date, the earned income is their responsibility.
I see. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so yes, so they would then be liable for any taxes due.
That is accurate, but I cannot stress to you enough. While this estate planning attorney can speak to you pretty intelligently on estate, gift, and generation skipping tax, I can, speak conversationally on income tax. But again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to get with a good, qualified CPA. Dwayne Bischoff's one we work with on a regular basis. I was just on with Dwayne this past week. And if you need a referral to one, we can give you a referral. Otherwise, just make sure they have a good accountant in their back pocket to reach out to, John, when that time comes.
Fine. All right. Appreciate your help. Thank you much.
Thank you, John. Thanks for listening to the
Yep.
show. Enjoy your Saturday.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty. 877-943-9673. That's your live and local number to be part of today's program. 877-943-9673. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. And I actually want to talk about a local connection to sovereign citizens. So we were talking with Kendall about how their weapon of choice is often papering the courts essentially to death. In this particular case, this was back in 2010. There was a dispute, a legal battle over a sovereign citizen paying a dog license fee. The sovereign citizen filed 10 sovereign documents in the court over a 2-month period and ultimately wound up proclaiming victory after the prosecutor dropped the charges. And this was a battle fought for 3 years over a $20 Pinellas County dog license. So that kind of gives you a sense of the flavor of your typical sovereign citizen battle. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. Inviting you to call in with your legal questions, your thoughts on sovereign citizens. We'd love to hear from you. 877-943-9673. Let's go to Clearwater and let's talk to George. George, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, George. How are you?
Good. So I don't know if this will qualify as my uncle being a sovereign citizen, but the family story is that years ago, he decided that he would challenge income tax as being unconstitutional. And in New York, he filed a lawsuit saying he did not have to pay income tax. And he was visited one day by 8 men in black suits, white shirts, and he was told that if his lawsuit succeeded, it would collapse the government, and therefore he should drop his lawsuit because he would never see the courtroom.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't have any proof of it, but that's the family story that went on for years. But my uncle was a very interesting guy, and it wouldn't surprise me if he tried to pull something like that off. It's been many years ago.
Well, while your uncle may not have been a sovereign citizen by definition, it definitely sounds like he's sovereign citizen adjacent, at least. I mean, that's sort of a typical kind of sovereign citizen movement. Now, you said uncle was. Is uncle still with us?
Oh, no, he's been long gone. But not because he filed a lawsuit, he had a heart attack.
Okay. Anyway, he pushed forward with the lawsuit, and that's the last we heard of him. So did he drop the lawsuit, or what was the end of that story? Did the sort of intimidation get him to back down, or did he just lean into it even more?
Oh, no, he had to back down. I mean, they made it
wow.
uncertain first. Oh, yeah.
Now that is probably the most unsovereign citizen-like move he made. Based on our research and the interaction that I see, I don't see them backing down. Even in the videos, I mean, they're to the point where the officers will tase them or release the dog on them and things like that. You don't see a lot of backing down, but if that story is true, George, that's certainly very, very scary. So we appreciate you calling in. Any other sovereign citizens? Yeah, go ahead.
I do. Well, my experience and my expertise in sovereign citizens is watching cops. And what's funny is that the cops will pull someone over, and they start citing all of these statutes and numbers, and they just make the stuff up.
Well, you mentioned Cops, which is my number 2 favorite show. Number 1 is On Patrol Live, which is the new iteration of Live PD. Do you watch this, George?
I do not, but I want to start watching it again because I know they pulled it.
They pulled it, and now it's back, and it's fantastic. It's on the Reels channel for those of you out there not familiar, but this is every Friday and Saturday night, 9 to midnight. They track the fine men and women of our law enforcement agencies in various counties throughout, including Marion County, Florida, Volusia County, Daytona Beach. So we have 3 different Florida departments represented in there. And I think that it does a great job of showing how hard the men and women of our law enforcement agencies work hard to keep us safe, but it's in real time. And it's absolutely fascinating. Last week's episode had an amazing clip that was absolutely terrifying regarding a toddler who had gotten a hold of the father's firearm. Thankfully, you saw the video.
I did see the video.
It's breathtaking, and so thankful that there wasn't a round in the chamber because the child was actually on video pulling the trigger, but it gives you a sense of what a tragedy that could have been. And it's just one of those scary things, but it also helps you really appreciate what these men and women do for us on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I don't know if the local agencies still allow it, but years ago I used to do ride-alongs with both RPD and Pinellas County Sheriff as part of the Leadership Pinellas program, and that's it live, like you just said, with the actual officers on the calls.
Mhm.
That was a great experience.
Well, my understanding is those programs still exist. If you're out there and you're a member of Pinellas, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, just call in and let us know if those programs are out there and if people can participate. I think you'd have a lot of people eager to participate and get a firsthand experience of what it is
And
to
that's
be in
to
law
your
enforcement.
point, they get to see how difficult that job is and what a great job these folks do.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. And when we're talking about the judges being patient, the officers are another glittering example of being respectful and, I mean, indeed personable to these people who are outright trying and actively disrespecting them. And it just shows how difficult their job is, George. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, good stuff.
George,
Appreciate your show.
yes, thank you, George. Have a great Saturday, okay?
Take care.
All right, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, and I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. Today, we're discussing all things sovereign citizens. We've sort of talked about the lineage and the division into, sovereign citizens versus government citizens is their paradigm, how they manipulate squatters' rights to often lay false claim to properties that are vacant. We discussed the local Pinellas County case here. We're going a 3-year battle over a $20 dog license. But there are many different types of sovereign citizens. It's a very fragmented group, to say the least. There are different types, such as the constitutional sovereigns, as Kendall was reminding us, because of the Moorish elements, the Moorish sovereigns. There's the galactic sovereigns and countless more. But the reason why I bring that up is to discuss in a little more detail the galactic sovereigns. According to the galactic sovereigns, which is a very small number of the sovereigns, I will point out, they hold a concurrent belief that friendly aliens will visit Earth, and they are actively planning for this occurrence, or believe that public officials and other individuals are reptilian aliens. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, this is the belief of the galactic sovereigns. But again, gives you a feel for sort of what's out there. All right, let's go to Pinellas County. Let's talk to Jane. Jane, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Good morning, Mr. Smith.
Hey, Jane.
My question is, can one who has been a guardian for a ward for many years, and then the ward progressed and down to where they only needed a power of attorney or help surrogate, and then over a period of time regressed medically and is in need of a guardianship again? And my main question is, does it take 2 or 3 years to reestablish a guardianship again? And how does one proceed to do that?
Well, I think that, number one, are you currently represented by counsel in this case, Jane?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I think that reestablishing or reopening a guardianship, because it sounds like what you said to me was there was a guardianship, person got better, and then they were just under sort of a general power of attorney relationship, but now they've regressed to the point of requiring guardianship again. If that's the case, I think it's a matter of petitioning to reopen the guardianship. And I think that if it's an urgent matter, you can always petition for an emergency temporary guardianship and sort of get immediate attention if the person's going to be a harm to themselves or others.
Of course. But can one file papers? I have all the documentation. And let's just say there was a lack of communication when the first guardianship was eliminated, and then we went into the POA situation. Can one file papers and reestablish it if you already have documentation?
I think, Jane, the best thing for you to do, if you don't go back to the attorney that was originally doing it, get with a guardianship attorney to review what you have and kind of assess what needs to be done. But I think you just need a good consultation with a guardianship attorney. And if you need a referral to one, just give me a call at the office next week. I'll give out the office line here and you can reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with the one who will be happy to give you a consultation. Okay.
Thank you. May I ask you one more thing?
Please.
It took quite some time to establish, the first guardianship, which lasted over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
With reestablishing a guardianship, I would hope it's not a crisis situation, but it's going to be headed that way because the person is not medically stable, shall we say. And I didn't know whether it would take, two judges and a third party and all that sort of thing that you go through with the first guardianship.
Yeah, I think when you have...
Is there a time frame for reestablishing?
I think when you have the consultation, the guardianship attorney will be able to give you a good idea of the parameters of a time frame. But without reviewing the specifics, it's tough for me to answer live on the air. But I think after that consultation, you'll walk out with a good understanding about what your time frame is. Okay, Jane?
Thank you. Do you do guardianship?
I do not directly, but I have attorneys I work with who do. So you call me at the office on Monday. I'll put you in touch with one of them, okay?
Thank you so very much.
Right. God bless you, Jane.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
We appreciate your kind words, Jane. All righty, 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. If you want to be part of today's show discussing sovereign citizens, or if you want to call in with any other legal question, 877-943-9673. But to reach me at the office to schedule your complimentary consultation, that number 877-754-6764 for Clearwater, Sun City Center, Sarasota, any of our office locations, 877-754-6764. All right, let's go to Scott in St. Pete. Scott, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Thank you, sir. How are you today?
I'm great, Scott. Hey, Scott, do you mind being patient a few more seconds? I think Yumiko has found the trailer for the Sovereign Citizens movie. Do you mind if we play that real quick and then I take your question?
No problem.
All right, Scott, thanks for your patience. Yumiko, you've got it. How long is it? Is it 90 seconds? All right, it's about 90 seconds. Yumiko, whenever you're ready.
Coming this summer.
Article 4, free inhabitant pursuant to the Articles of Confederation. You can look it up. It's in the United States Book of Codes. It is your laws you have to follow.
Sovereign citizens over the edge.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is assault. This is assault. You broke in my windows. I do not consent. I do not consent.
I don't feel safe with your glasses on. I don't talk to cops that wear glasses.
Stopped by earlier?
He was... Okay, I'm not talking to you because you obviously don't have a clue what the hell is going on.
I've invoked my right, my Fifth Amendment right. I've invoked my Fifth Amendment right.
Okay, go ahead and step out
to remain silent without presence.
Go ahead and step out of the vehicle. You're under arrest.
I do not agree to that contract.
Stop! This is police brutality. I haven't done anything. Ah!
You got my back! You got my back! You're gonna get in so much trouble, you son of a bitch! You're gonna get sued! You don't even know what you're doing! I'm telling you, I'm gonna sue you!
Stop.
What's your name? Argadona. Argadona, you're gonna get arrested. You're gonna get... Oh my God, you don't know your own laws!
Relax.
You don't know your own laws!
Relax.
Come to theaters everywhere.
Scott, you going to see that movie?
Yes, definitely.
Me too. And I can't tell you how amazing of a job Joe Weaver and Dave Straub, our production manager here, did putting that together. And but I think it does a good job demonstrating, because you have to hear it for yourself, what these people sound like and what they're espousing. But Scott, we appreciate your patience. What's your question?
Well, I deal with it on a daily basis. My boss is one. He's always throwing things at me. I mean, even the earth is flat. But
so wait, Scott, your boss is a sovereign citizen.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Well, he does. He believes it, but he doesn't practice it. I'll say that.
Okay, go ahead, Scott, please.
He tells me all about it. I want to know if you could tell me how to argue with him. He's always telling me there's no law that says you have to pay taxes. I said, well, quit paying your taxes. Let's see what happens.
So I actually wound up researching that, Scott, because that is sort of one of their main tenets. I went down the rabbit hole of what do I do if I don't want to pay taxes? Well, you can leave the United States, you can change your residency, but there's actually a methodology where you can actually renounce your U.S. citizenship, still remain here, and potentially still use U.S. banking and not have to pay any future taxes in the future. It's a bold step to renounce your U.S. citizenship. And I think, obviously it's unpatriotic, but the IRS is going to get that one final bite at the apple. There's an exit tax that they try. And maybe when Dwayne Bischoff's on, when we get into tax season here a little more, he can speak to that, what a renunciation of your U.S. citizens would lead to in terms of an exit tax. And as I understand it, I think you have to be over a couple $1,000,000 for it to really have any teeth. But there is an exit tax if you renounce your citizenship, but that would be a methodology for your boss to get out of paying taxes in the future, Scott.
Oh, wow. I mean, he sent me videos of lawyers. I mean, these were black and white videos, and we've researched and we can't find any law that says you have to pay taxes, and they quit being lawyers because of it, and da-da-da. And I'm like, these people out Seville they're just asking for trouble, really.
Well, and there's a lot of pseudo legal advice that the sovereign citizen will offer up in court, and it's not well received. I mean, these people would be much better served if they would just listen to the judge in a lot of these settings. The judge, you can tell in a lot of these situations, is genuinely trying to help them and is trying to work with them, but the sovereign citizen interaction and non-recognition of the judge's authority is prohibiting the judge from even trying to cut them a break. And so it sounds like your boss may be in that potential situation where it's just he's cutting off his nose to spite his face. He's sort of being his own worst enemy with this lack of recognition.
Yes, definitely.
Thank
you so much for taking my call and clearing that up for me. I really appreciate it.
Scott,
Thank you.
absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay? 877-943-9673. Joe, we were talking before we went on the air about just how excellent of a job Dave did on that movie trailer. And you said that he had some particular comment for his experience putting it together. Could you mind repeating or sharing with the listeners what he said?
Well, he just was, he very much enjoyed doing it. He really enjoyed the project. He thought that it was a lot of fun. And yeah, that was his commentary on it. He just really, really enjoyed it.
And again, Dave, if you're listening, A+, amazing job. This was an idea that came super last minute. I was on my morning run yesterday and inspiration struck me when, Katrina and the Waves came on my running playlist. And it was just, I thought, my gosh, what a great way to demonstrate the types of statements than by doing a movie trailer. And you kind of give a preview and a sense of what's out there with regard to sovereign citizens. So, so obviously that's a spoof. There's no movie actually coming out, but the statements are very real statements by sovereign citizens. And, if we were making that movie, since they recognize the county sheriff as the highest government agent, I think we would have to try to get Grady Judd potentially to make at least a cameo appearance on that, Joe.
Well, yeah, but the problem there is that Sheriff Judd is a proponent of the law, and that's like everything that he talks about is about the law.
That's a fair point. And that's probably that's a great point. So Sheriff Judd, probably not the best ally for a sovereign citizen, being the fantastic lawman that he has been over his entire career. All righty. So this has been the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Again, to reach us during the week, 877-754-6764. That's your toll-free number to reach us at the office, to speak to me directly, or to schedule your complimentary consultation, 877-754-6764. You can always email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. Go on social media and give us a follow on Instagram at The Attorney Patrick Smith Show, or on Facebook, Attorney Patrick Smith. Well, we've enjoyed talking sovereign citizens with you, and we will have some other new and exciting topic for you next week. Everyone stay safe, stay warm. God bless. Have a fantastic weekend.
The proceeding was sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith.